I did not mean to go live. This is supposed to be like a video that I just did on my own. But today I'm doing a tier list for the core weapons in Dauntless. All right. So I'm going to ask y'all a question since we're here now. What do you think, or where do you think repeaters are on the tier list? Out of these numbers, S is the best, A is really good, B is above average, or B is about average, C is below average, and D is pretty bad. So where do you guys think repeater is on this tier list? Because I already know, but I'm curious what you guys think. C, D, good answers. D. Repeaters are in the D tier because they haven't received anything to make them really useful. And I get they're getting a refresh soon, but I'm pretty sure that refresh is just to make them on par with having prismatic slots and having actual cell stats and whatnot. That's my assumption. That is what every weapon already has to begin with. That's like a baseline thing weapons should have. Repeaters way back when had modularity, but then at some point, every weapon started getting freaking special slots, mod slots you could just change, and that was the whole repeater's shtick, right? They are pretty bad in that kind of sense. And they still don't have good waves of interrupting. I understand you have legendary abilities and you have omni cells that can interrupt, but so does every single other weapon. That's nothing that has been added to repeaters at all. Like that's nothing that's made them better. It's made the game better, and repeaters are benefiting from it, like, you know, vice versa, but it's not anything that's been added to their kit specifically. You sit there, you use your special, and you probably wait around 12 seconds to use it again. There's nothing cool about that. On top of that, the gameplay is you're holding left click or a trigger to shoot. There's seriously nothing interesting about that anymore. Way back when, they were pretty fun, pretty fast paced because attack speed was really high. But now it's been nerfed, repeaters haven't really recovered in terms of their enjoyability to play, at least not for me. I used to be a freaking repeater, I wouldn't say one trick, but I used to love this weapon a lot. I don't hate it, but it's just not that interesting to play, and that is a bummer. Now, where do you guys think the strikers are on the list? Twin Suns are D2. Twin Suns are, yeah. Twin Suns are actually pretty bad. They're not terrible. They're fun to play, but they rely on behemoths hitting you, and that's a bummer because behemoths have really bad AI sometimes. A? D? Who said, what do you mean D? Wait, did you say Chainblades? You said Chainblades is S tier? You're smoked. S? All right, Moonbuster's correct. So, by the way, this is all my opinion. I shouldn't have to say that. That should be like, you know, kind of understood. This is my opinion on stuff. I think strikers are S tier. Reason being, they are really easy to use, fun to use. To me, fun is a big factor. It's a really big factor. Enjoyability of a weapon is immensely important. It's also important that it performs well. Strikers perform very well. And I should also mention every single weapon on this list is viable. That's why there's no F tier. But D just means that it needs some loving, you know? But strikers are S tier because they are a very powerful weapon. They're a blunt weapon, which is very good in Dauntless because you just stagger behemoths more often. You get more use out of overpower, things like that. And they're a very, what should I say, agile weapon. You don't have iframes on your Aether Surge or your Surge ability, but you still have the ability to reposition and not use stamina when you're doing that. Their specials are useful. Their modifiers, they only have 2 that are semi-useful. I still don't know if the crit modifier, where if you critically strike, you increase the damage of your Karma Breaker, is useful or not, but if it is, that'd be kind of sick. But they're just really strong. They do a ton of damage, and they are not super hard to use. They're still fun, though, and they require some thinking, though, which is kind of nice. Now, what about Axe? Where do you guys think Axe is? I'm asking y'all Chainblades last because I got too many Chainblade simplings. I can't say that other word. S? A. I'm seeing a lot of A's. I think A as well. It would be S tier, but it has too many things in its kit that are kind of useless. So I'll start off by saying that power armor, whenever you're charging the axe and you turn like yellow, and you don't get staggered if you get hit, that is kind of outdated. It's cool that you can do that, and I like that aspect, but if you're running Predator and you get hit, you lose Predator. That's silly. That means why would I ever want to power surge, or why would I ever want to like resolve an attack if I'm going to lose Predator? Even though I timed it perfectly and I resolved the attack perfectly, I still get a detrimental effect. That doesn't make sense to me. And they don't perform well on Trials, which I don't really care. I think Trials is garbage, but it is something to consider when you're talking about a weapon and its overall ranking in a tier list. They don't do well in trials because to get the power of an axe unlocked, you have to go through a hunt. Because of determination stacks, you get more damage as the fight goes on. That takes time. Trials is time based, so you're just running out of time the whole time. You're trying to get more damage. That makes sense, right? And the axe did get a little bit of a they got kind of slapped on the wrist with the attack speed nerfs because it is one of the slowest attacking weapons in the game. I think that hammer got hit harder, but axe still got affected to a pretty good degree. Now, axe is a fun weapon to play. I love this weapon. I think it's my favorite weapon in the game, but to try and keep my bias out of the situation, I'm putting it in A tier, not S tier, but it does need a little bit of a looking after. And one of the biggest issues with the axe is the combos are just irrelevant. Like, I get that most weapons in this game that haven't been refreshed or reworked have pretty bad combos in terms of them all being useful, and they normally just evolve into one being useful. The axe is pretty much that. They've even tried buffing the woodchopper attack, but it's still useless. And that's mostly because of stamina, but also because when does the behemoth just sit still forever and do nothing? Now, if the stamina was fixed and the woodchopper attack was actually sick, it'd be cool to have moments where, oh, the behemoth is knocked over, I'm gonna go ahead and just like chop wood forever and do big damage. That'd be sick, but that can't be the case whenever stamina is non-existent. Now, where do y'all think Pike is? I'm doing like freaking Sesame Street tier list right now. A tier? Okay, I think A tier as well. The reason why it's not S tier is because Pike got nerfed. If they didn't nerf its pokey attack, you know, like the freaking shake weight 5000 move, if that wasn't nerfed, it'd be S tier, because with all the attack speed, with all of the attack speed cells and damage cells being nerfed, having Aether Rush or whatever it's called, the Pike buff when you wound an attack, that being in play, and also Savagery giving you 100% damage versus a wounded part. If the poke attack wasn't nerfed, it would be the best weapon in the game, bar none. But because that was nerfed, and it just isn't as good as it was before, Pike is now to the point where when you're in in-game content doing trials, or in some cases heroic escalation, you don't have to wound at all to make Pike really powerful. In trials, it's apparently beneficial to not wound whatsoever, which is ridiculous. That nullifies one of the core aspects of the weapon, which is wounding, and to me that just doesn't make any sense. And you're also going down the route of only one combo is viable, which sucks. That's not good. So that's why Pike to me is A tier. Its specials are pretty good. I think what's the freaking thing? Reckless Leap sucks, but that's a matter of hitboxes being bad. Other than that, it has really great specials. It has 2 good modifiers, but most modifiers in this game are not very good. And I think they all deserve, or most of them deserve a rework to actually be useful. But that's a different video. Okay, what about Hammer? It was like a TikTok dance. You know what I'm talking about. So Hammer, where does Hammer go? C? What? Do you know how good Hammer is? D? What the fuck? Alright, so this is one of the things where Hammer is only high on the list because it's powerful. And I would say it's an A. Okay, it's A tier. Technically it's S tier if you're really good at Hammer, but at the same time it's A tier because the attack speed got nerfed and Hammer requires a lot of attack speed. The whole way the Hammer is played is you basically have to get to an Aether Slam. You have to sit there and you have to slam a behemoth. That's where the most damage comes from. So that means you have to complete an entire combo every single time you're attacking a behemoth. Now, granted, you could just wait for a stagger and then do that, but still, attack speed makes it so the Hammer is less viable, and it has the same issue where you do the same freaking combo. There's more to it than just that. There's more usefulness from the combos, but generally speaking, you just sit there, uppercut, and slam. That is the Hammer. It's very strong, very freaking powerful, but it needs attack speed. It definitely needs to be looked at in terms of its combos. Where do you guys think Chainblades go? Bunch of Chainblades simplings. I can't say the other word. S? What? I'm about to make all y'all mad. It's B. I'll explain why. It's boring as hell, dude. This weapon is so boring. It is so boring. It's crazy. Literally, no matter what you do, you're doing the same thing consistently. If you're playing freaking Boreas Mom Blades, you're gonna freaking spam Q. That's all you do. You spam that, and then when you're out of freaking pips, you freaking do the like. It's so boring. And on top of that, you have bugs. You have the issue where like you freaking queue off a behemoth, you try and hit it again, and you hit an invisible wall. You hit an invisible wall. That is so bad. I get it's a bug, but it's been a bug for a long time. It's straight S. Well, I'll tell you right now, this is factuals. What you're saying right now is just straight up wrong. That's ignorant, okay? It's not S tier. Chainblades are not S tier. The only reason Chainblades are decent is because you have Reaper's Dance. That's it. That's the only reason. If you didn't have Reaper's Dance, this weapon would be so effing boring. It'd be terrible because you're sitting there doing the swinging blades attack, light attack, heavy attack, light attack, right? That is only viable because if you mess up and you mistime something, you can just press Q and bounce off instantly. You're playing a weapon that has 0 stamina, and the only reason it's viable is because of Reaper's Dance. That's it. But the weapon itself is so effing boring, it's crazy. I think Rapiers is more boring though, so I'll give you that. I'll give you some consolation prize, but it is ridiculous. If you're playing Boreas Mom Blades, it's spam Reapers and you build pips with swinging blades. If you're playing Hellion Chain Blades, you do freaking swinging blades and Reaper's Dance to dodge. That's the weapon. That's not fun. That's not how we should be doing things in Dauntless, bro. Not even close. Okay? I'm just saying. It's like if I watch someone play Chainblades, I'm just like, oh, sick, they're playing Chainblades. Wow. Oh, they're swinging blades now. Oh, that's so sick. Oh, they use Reaper's Dance. Oh, crazy. Like Axe is pretty one-dimensional, but it's still more interesting to watch to me than Chainblades. So it's my opinion. If you love Chainblades, more power to you. That's actually a good thing. It's good to have people that like weapons more than others. That's good. But I'm just saying it needs some love. Okay. Now, where do you guys think the sword is on the tier list? D tier? Why is everything D tier with you, bro? You keep saying D. You're pissing me off, man. C? Huh? What do you mean C? Are y'all just bad with the? Are y'all bad with the sword or what? All right, so I'm gonna say A tier. Now, just because weapons are an A tier does not mean they're equal. It just means that they're not S tier or they're not B tier. I'm saying A tier because the sword is fun to play. There's a bunch of different combos that are all viable. That is good. You want to have viable combos. That's freaking massive. That makes the weapon more fun to play. There's more to think about. You're not just doing the same thing over and over again. It's fantastic. Issues. The specials are whack because why is it that we only have like one special that's useful? Like 99% of the time. They have to get reworked, bro. Avenging Overdrive, freaking amazing. The issue with that though is the fact that like if you Avenging Overdrive something, you can get hit by something else during Avenging Overdrive because it doesn't block more than one instance of damage. That is an issue. It used to do that though. It used to not be an issue, but they changed it and now it's a problem. So that's one of the things to point out. As far as the mods go, like I said, man, so many weapons have the same issue with modifiers and specials, where modifiers in this case, there's just not that many that are useful. The sword does have really powerful ones though. I think Recursive Hilt, fantastic, awesome. But the sword is just great weapon. It's good against so many behemoths. That's another factor I didn't really mention too much, but some weapons are very behemoth dependent. The sword can basically fight anything. It's a jack of all trades, master of none, which is better than a jack of none and a master of one. I don't know the saying, but it's something like that. That is the core tier list. I didn't mean to stream today. I'm not sure what I'm going to do now, but we'll do something. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I have a creator code. It's OhDough. Use that in the Epic Game Store or the in-game Dauntless store. It helps me out a freaking ton. If you don't use my code, use someone's code. I stream at where you're watching right now, twitch.tv/OhDough, and I have a separate TikTok and YouTube channel at OhDoughless. Other than that, you have a beautiful day. Catch you later. Peace.